Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we have John Fitzgerald Kennedy versus Donald Trump. Essentially, we're just going to go through this map. It's going to be very different, actually. It's not going to look the same way you would normally see election maps between generic Democrats, because John F. Kennedy is a conservative Democrat by multiple standards. I mean, some argue he could be a Republican today. I still think he would be a Democrat, but just be someone a little more right-leaning than Joe Manchin or someone like Steve Bullock, Heidi Heitkamp, people like that. And I'm gonna go through the electoral map, and we're gonna actually see how Kennedy would reshape the entire electoral map, especially going against a very unpopular Republican. Kennedy was a really good American president, in my opinion, and honestly, a lot of the states that he lost against Richard Nixon wouldn't go Republican again. So we're starting off on the West Coast, 3 states that would flip away from that were Republican states when Kennedy ran in 1960. And then we're going to go across. We know that a lot of these states, actually North Dakota, Montana, I don't want to touch just yet, but we know South Dakota, Nebraska, with the exception of one electoral vote. I'm not going to fill in yet. Kansas, Oklahoma, going over to Utah, definitely more population. Going down to Alaska, these states will probably go red. Now, a number of these states in the South, though, those are the ones I want to talk about. So Kentucky, Indiana, honestly, with Vice President Mike Pence, probably. But I'm going to fill in the safe Democratic states. A number of these states are safe Democratic by today's standards, and especially with the JFK ticket, it would be by far more Democratic. So we have essentially a lot of electoral votes normally that are safe for the Republican Party that aren't safe. So we have 208 electoral votes safe for Kennedy and 55 for Trump. The reason why I did not fill in the entire South, or pretty much any of the South, was because I don't necessarily think it would be safe. The South loved the Democratic Party before, and they pretty much converted over the Republican Party, but we know it's probably not going to go to Kennedy, but I just wanted to talk about it, and I think it would be within a margin of around 10%. That's not necessarily the safest compared to states like Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, and the list goes on, but a lot of these states that I rank safe blue, I think would solidly go to Kennedy. I mean, he's one of the strongest political candidates. First person to win with televised debates. Honestly, I don't see a way for Trump to overcome him. But then we go into some more Republican states. North Dakota, Montana, we know these states are probably going to go to Trump. Mississippi, Alabama, states that Byrd won in 1960, still Republican states. Going over to Tennessee, the volunteer state, that one's probably going to stay red. But going over to West Virginia, I would give that one Kennedy. And my reasoning behind it is this was a Democratic stronghold. It still technically is. If you look at the way that the voters rely off the government, it should be a Democratic stronghold, but it isn't. That's because Republicans have done very well appealing to the coal workers and appealing to a lot of the base that the Democrats had in elections like 1992, 1976, 1960 even. The Democrats have really lost their grasp, but I think Kennedy could easily win it back. Going over to Virginia, another Democratic state, New Hampshire, Maine, states I think Kennedy would easily pick up. Pretty much all the states Hillary Clinton would also be states that Kennedy would easily win against the president. Going down to Texas, that's honestly, if he ran with LBJ on his ticket, that wouldn't necessarily happen. He would probably choose a new VP, but I think the state of Texas would actually flip for Kennedy, being such a popular candidate. Same thing in Nebraska's 2nd district, and then we're just going to run the map here. A lot of these swing states, Iowa, Ohio, Wisconsin, Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Florida, and Georgia, I'm all going to give to Kennedy, and that's pretty much a blowout for Kennedy. And my reasoning behind it is a lot of these states have become swing states. They have a lot of Democratic voters. Kennedy being a very strong conservative, he won a lot of Republican votes in 1960, but it was a close election. Honestly, this won't be close whatsoever. Going down to South Carolina, that's a little iffy here. Kennedy could really peel away a large portion of the GOP over here and win South Carolina, but it's gone so far right that it's kind of hard to flip. Same argument could be made for West Virginia, but again, this is a state that normally elects Democrats on whether it be the gubernatorial elections, although he did switch to the GOP, or senatorial elections, whereas South Carolina isn't so giving to Democrats when it comes to those elections around. Coming down to Missouri, I think Kennedy could pick that up. I mean, being a conservative Democrat against Trump with his approval rating underwater in that state, I think that would be a victory. Going down to Arkansas and Louisiana, these are two states I would give to Kennedy. Again, Louisiana, they have a lot of conservative Democrats that normally vote Republican. Remember, this was a Bill Clinton state. They have a Democratic governor right now. Honestly, that state, I think, could retain and go under Democratic control. Going over to Arkansas, we have another state here. I think the Blue Dog Appeal definitely did well for Bill Clinton, although he was from the state of Arkansas. How did he win in the first place? It was the Blue Dog Appeal. That's definitely going to help him, that's definitely going to help Kennedy in this election. So this was a video before my new election night coming out. It's a 2012 election night. The two candidates are Hillary Clinton and Mitt Romney, but just stay tuned for that soon. But this is John F. Kennedy versus Donald Trump. 442 for Kennedy to 96 for Trump. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you all later today.